What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the World Hard Enduro podcast. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about the 2025 Hard Enduro World Championship. That's right, you heard it. It's happening for 2025.
We have a new promoter for the 2025 season, ProTouchGlobal GmbH. In this episode, we speak about who they are, what they do, and a little bit about what the calendar is going to look like for the 2025 season.
Let's get into it.
Smoking on that I be real just like
Season 2 of the World Hard Enduro podcast. I mean, it's crazy to think that we pretty much started this about a year ago at the beginning of the 2024 Hard Enduro World Championship, following the rounds and then getting to know a little bit more about the riders, the event organizers. But before we get into season 2 and what is going on in the world of Hard Enduro, let us know, what do you think about our new intro song that we just worked on? I think we put a lot of time and effort into it. It took a while for us to pick a song, but I think it's pretty cool. It's got a cool little vibe to it. What do you think, T?
I like it. I think it's more upbeat, you know? It's more like trendy, I guess.
We had 2 options of songs and majority vote won on that one. So let us know below what you think of that. But now that's out of the way, let's talk about what is going on in the world of Hard Enduro. A new promoter for 2025.
Correct. That, I think, is the biggest news of all. It's the news that everyone has been waiting for. And I feel like we've been waiting forever. Don't you think? I feel like we've been waiting for someone to announce something. And I kept referring to, the FIM website and just nothing. Speaking with race organizers, riders, everyone was like, well, I think something's happening. I don't know if something's happening. So finally, we've got like the clarification on what's happening. And as you said, Brandon, there is a new promoter for the 2025 Hard Enduro World Championship season. Now, this new promoter is ProTouchGlobal. They have been awarded the promoter rights by FIM. So the new promoter is ProTouchGlobal GmbH, which has been officially awarded the rights to serve as the new promoter as of, basically a week ago.
Yeah.
What they had to say about this was that, they have Robbie Hunter. He is kind of the main guy who's going to be headhunting this whole new venture of them. And he's going to be he is the managing director of ProTouchGlobal. And he said, we're honored to take the reins of such a prestigious and adrenaline-charged championship. The FIM Hard Enduro World Championship events are not just average races. It's a battle between rider, machine, and nature to the extreme. Our mission is to elevate the sport while preserving its raw, untamed essence. In this new role, ProTouchGlobal will oversee all promotional aspects of the championship, including event coordination, global broadcast rights, commercial partnerships, and fan engagement initiatives.
Yeah. Big job.
Big job.
Yeah.
Big job. And just talking about the role and what it is that they need to do is a lot.
Yeah, it definitely is.
They are going to need, I think, to juggle a lot of responsibilities with this now new championship and this new undertaking, really. And
to think of it from pretty much when the championship is supposed to begin, I mean, less than 2 weeks away, and they've just been awarded the rights to undertake this big project. So I think it's all systems go for that team at the moment. But let's talk about a bit more about what ProTouchGlobal actually is, because that's one of the questions that I was asking definitely myself when I must give you some credit, because you were on FIM's website on a pretty much bi-daily frequency, trying to figure out what is going on inside this hard enduro scene, and you were definitely first to figure out what was going on there, so kudos to you. But
thank you.
Let's talk about a little bit more about who ProTouchGlobal is. Do they have what it takes to make this happen?
That's a great question. So to be fair, we've been asking ourselves this question, and our community has been asking it too. Since we made the social media announcement that we saw the FIM made this announcement, we've been seeing a lot of interesting comments.
Yes.
First of all, who is ProTouchGlobal? And second of all, I would say not necessarily the most positive comments about those who do know who ProTouchGlobal are.
Yeah.
So I thought, it'd probably be best if we did our own research to kind of come to a conclusion as to who ProTouchGlobal is and what we can maybe expect from them moving forward. So I want to start kind of and say that, the main guys that are going to be in charge of the Hard Enduro World Championship, there's kind of two main guys. The first is Robbie Hunter and the second is Ross Whitehead. And they were notably, most people from South Africa would know that they were quite closely involved with the Roof of Africa in 2024. But let's just talk about who ProTouchGlobal GmbH is. So their headquarters are in Switzerland, and they're actually you could say a full service sports management agency. So they have a really strong organizational skills with regards to cycling events.
Right.
So they have events like the Tour de Suisse, Tour de Guangxi, I think it's in China, the Cyclothon Hong Kong, and then another tour, I think somewhere down under, maybe in Australia. I could be mistaken though. So strong record for cycling tours and cycling events. Athlete management is also a key part of their, I would say, portfolio, something that they're quite well known for. They manage mostly professional cyclists and golfers, but someone who is quite well known, at least in our industry, is Wade Young, who is managed by this company, but more specifically by Ross Whitehead, who is now going to be involved in this new, I guess, committee that is going to promote the championship. So key strengths, really good with professional cyclists, understanding how those cycling events work, managing, those athletes, but cycling.
Yeah.
And cycling, quite frankly, is not hard enduro. So that's kind of a background as to who ProTouchGlobal GmbH is, at least the information that we've come across in our own research.
You've done a really good job with basically showing who ProTouchGlobal is, and it's pretty clear what their main job is and what their main kind of role is. For them to be undertaking this task of promoting the Hard Enduro World Championship for 2025, as we said, less than 2 weeks to go, it's going to be a big challenge. To be fair, I don't think most of us can expect them to do a world or let's say a very, very good job off the bat. It's going to take some time to get going. This is a partnership or a promotion, if I'm not mistaken, for an extended period. It's not just for 2025. So it's going into the future as well. So, they're going to have some years of, fumbling, some learning from mistakes and stuff. But also coming back to the point of our Instagram. So as I mentioned before, you were quite on it when it came to the launch of, or the announcement of this, which was, in my opinion, very hush-hush, to be fair, only posted on FIM's official page. And that's pretty much it. No one in the media really got insights of what was going. I think Enduro 21 maybe had some insight there, but it really wasn't publicized the way that we think it should have been. It's a world championship. This is a big deal, especially for us hard enduro fans. Yeah, at least we thought it would have been a bit bigger. An Instagram page, big launch, big announcement, websites, exactly.
How are things happening? I mean, to be fair, the only thing that we've got is a preliminary race calendar.
Right.
So it's not even confirmed, but actually we can speak about that calendar a little bit more.
Well, before that, I just want to come back to some of the comments. So, so we posted on our Instagram, and we had a lot of people commenting about their involvement inside the Roof of Africa in last year in 2024. Let's just say not positive things all around. For sure, super excited to have a championship for 2025. There's things to be grateful for.
It's what the industry needs, to be honest. We need a championship. We need something to get behind, and it not only supports the community, the riders, the events. It's the whole ecosystem thrives when there is a championship. So I do think having a championship, having a new promoter, is a good thing.
Yes, but.
But you are 100% correct when you speak about, the Roof of Africa. That's where most of the comments came from. And to be honest, we covered a little bit of the Roof of Africa before the event, but we didn't give much information or feedback after the event.
Yes.
Mostly because there's a lot that's gone on, and we can shine a little bit of light on it now, just by doing, again, our own research and coming to kind of a conclusion. But it's not necessarily the best news. So let's just get into it. I want to point out that the promoter of the Roof of Africa, especially 2024, was ProTouchGlobal South Africa, not ProTouchGlobal GmbH. So there is something, it is slightly different. GmbH has a larger team, whereas the South Africa branch, I think, might just be Robbie Hunter for the most part. So yeah, in 2024, the race didn't go very well. The event didn't go very well. Basically, there was a court of inquiry with MSA, and in the end, they found gross mismanagement by ProTouchGlobal South Africa. So
it's not a good start.
No. So a couple of the things that kind of didn't go well was there were some really chaotic starts, and there weren't really good facilities. So, toilets, safety for spectators, drinking water for, riders and those spectating. They had major timing and tracking issues. The routes were unsafe because due to heavy rains, they had to change the routes, but that meant a lot of the routes actually overlapped. So a lot of the riders ended up going backwards on the track. They ended up crossing roads where there was no kind of safety for road crossings. We also have things such as, environmental and health regulation breaches. So, fuel being put into bikes without fuel mats on the ground, in just open grass fields, safety protocols with regards to that. And also just I guess in the end, rider dissatisfaction and a really bad reputation, not only for the Roof of Africa, but also for MSA.
Yeah, you're not right. I mean, even after speaking to Theodore afterwards, because we had him on the podcast speaking about this race beforehand, getting his insights on what he's going through his mind going to Africa and then Lesotho for the first time for the Roof of Africa. It seemed like he was pretty stoked to go. I mean, he had a lot of questions. He had a lot of things that he wanted answered. And we were really hoping for him to have a great time there, good time to show off Lesotho, South Africa, our country, Roof of Africa. It's really close to us. So, we've been there several times doing it and, supporting people out there. So, yeah, we really were hoping for a good time for him. But then the feedback from him at the end of it, I think we all saw his Instagram post following the event. And that pretty much leads to what we see now, wasn't really positive. And I think at the end of it, he actually got disqualified. So he didn't even finish that race.
That's true. He was disqualified from the event for a couple of reasons. But yes, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, it basically stems down to, what you're saying now with this court inquiry. So
yeah, so not a great start, to be fair, for ProTouchGlobal South Africa specifically. But again, I just want to recognize that ProTouchGlobal GmbH is going to be responsible for the championship, not just the South African branch, although the guys who were in charge of the roof are going to be the key players in this. So I'm not really sure how to feel about it, especially doing the research. It definitely, I would say for me, brings up some red flags. Having said that though, I want to be optimistic. I want to say, okay, maybe that was a really good opportunity for them to, I guess in a way, learn the hard way.
Right.
Really figure out, okay, these are all the things that actually could go wrong. And now they know how to do better at that. But another thing is that I'm pretty sure at the end of the conclusion of their court inquiry was that basically MSA shouldn't have the specific promoter involved in the championship unless that they are under more guidance and have stricter protocols to follow. So for a promoter who shouldn't be part of Roof of Africa and then now are the promoter for a world championship, I don't understand how that kind of works.
Right.
But again, who knows? Let's see what happens in the future.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go into what does the calendar look like for 2025? That's also some controversy behind that topic, eh?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So what we're looking at for the preliminary calendar is we have Valley's Hard Enduro in the UK.
When is that?
That is the 10th to 11th of May. So I think it's only 12 days.
No.
Only more or less 2 weeks, which in itself is a bit of an issue because a lot of the riders and teams, they kind of expressed that they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough time to fully prepare for that event.
Which is understandable. They've got their trucks, bikes, logistics to get their stuff across. It's not easy. I mean, even just from Europe to the UK, it's imagine someone that wants to do it from South Africa or from the US. I mean, it's very difficult.
Exactly. So that's a little bit close, I would say. So we've got Valley's Hard Enduro, we've got Silver Kings USA.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is, I think, really cool. I think it's cool to have a new race, something that hasn't been in the championship before, also something in the US. I think it's a cool addition, to be honest. So we'll see, again, how that works. I heard some controversy with regards to entries. I know that I think the entries for Silver Kings is actually already closed, but I do think that the event approached a lot of the riders who were in the championship last year to come to the event. So maybe they've done a workaround with that. I'm not sure.
But then we see someone like Radford Chug, which finished top 15 inside the championship last year.
Maybe 12,
and he didn't get any
information
on that. So it's a tough one, right?
A little difficult.
But it's for sure you're not going to please everyone.
No.
That's clear. But there are certain key partners and people in the industry that need to get satisfied, that need to get riders are number one. Teams are right there with them, as well as brand sponsors, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So they get ROI, and I mean those are the guys that make the championship happen at the end, you know. Okay, continue.
Yeah, another race is Red Bull Romaniacs, although it says in here that it's still in negotiation.
What's that date there again?
So Silver Kings is 12th to the 14th of June, and Red Bull Romaniacs is 22nd to 26th of July. Actually, now that you ask the date, there is something I would like to mention, which I think is a bit, I don't know, not concerning, but a little bit concerning. So remember I said that ProTouchGlobal GmbH is in charge of a lot of cycling events.
Yes.
So I think their biggest cycling event is the Tour de Suisse, I think it is. And that event happens from June 12th to June 22nd, which also happens to be the exact same time that Silver Kings is happening, from June 12th to June 14th. So how is a company that is... their main focus is cycling. Their main event is on the same time as another hard enduro race that is on literally the other side of the world. And if I'm not mistaken, the company is made of 4 co-owners, and 3 of those co-owners are highly involved in this, cycling event. They're on the board, so they really need to be at that cycling tour. And I think the only one who's not is Robbie. So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how they're going to manage to spread themselves between 2 big events over, 2 different continents. But let's see. Anyway, moving on. Red Bull Romaniacs is still in negotiation. We have Aberstone in Italy from the 6th to the 7th of September. Hispania from the 20th to the 21st of September. C2 Scar, the 9th to 11th of October. Getson Rodeo, the 24th to 25th of October. And we end off with the Roof of Africa from the 20th to the 22nd of November.
Interesting, eh?
Right?
It's going to be an interesting year. I'm quite keen to see how this goes, to be fair. And and also some things there in negotiation with Red Bull Romaniacs.
Yeah.
They were kind of crowned themselves to give away the Extreme Enduro Rally World title.
Something like that.
And it was interesting. That's probably why the negotiation is still ongoing. I wonder, because also, where's Erzberg?
Yeah, true. Where's Red Bull Erzberg Rodeo? Exactly. They're not here.
No, they're not.
They're not here.
So Carl must have just said no.
Maybe he still wants to have his own championship or champion. The Extreme, title. Maybe he's kind of set on his ways with that. I don't know. But the only thing that I see here, at least for now, is Red Bull Romaniacs. It's the only Red Bull event on this list. Everything else isn't necessarily a Red Bull event. I mean, to be fair, before you had the 24MX events, you had Red Bull Erzberg. So I don't know how things are going to work this year.
I mean, I think that Erzberg and Romaniac, so they're such iconic and big events in the industry. You could argue both ways and say, yes, they 100% need to be part of the championship, but then you could also argue that they could be their own standalone thing. You know what I mean? I think that, from both sides, I think it could work, no matter if there's a world championship or not, Red Bull Romaniacs will still have 1,500 entries.
Yes.
And Erzberg will still also have 1,500 entries, and
they are big events as even standalone events.
Yeah.
They don't, I would say, necessarily need the championship to still thrive as an event. But being such an iconic and big event, kind of you would expect it to be part of the championship. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes and what kind of coverage that gets, what kind of attendance that gets, at least from the top riders. Yeah, let's see.
Red Bull riders are going to be there for sure.
Should, yes.
Yeah. And then also Silver Kings. I think that, again, is interesting. Breaking, I would say, history or making history with the number one prize money giving away at an event.
Correct.
$100,000 split between in the prizes for the purse. It's pretty cool. Cool to see. So, yeah, I'm really interested. It's quite a crazy year, quite a crazy start to the year, I think, with the whole commotion with Wes and now, new promoter coming in.
Yeah, very much so. I'm not sure what to expect. I think it's good for the sport, but at the same time, there's also some things that only time will tell on how it's going to work out. I'm hoping and I really wish ProTouchGlobal the best for this season.
Absolutely.
And I hope to hear more information from them soon, to be honest, because they are very quiet. Actually, they haven't said, I don't think, anything yet. So I'm really eager to see what they have to say, what information they share with, the community in general, and then kind of to go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it blows my mind with how quiet things are actually.
But I mean, everyone's got questions. Everyone wants to know what's happening, who's the promoter. I mean, now we know, but at the same time, just because you know the promoter and you have a preliminary calendar doesn't mean we know anything actually.
Yeah, I guess, the objective here is to have a championship,
Yes.
So the goal there is to get that sorted out, make sure that, race organizers, brands, the money's flowing to the right places at the right time in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
The amount of views they get and how much information they share to the public is probably, not so high on their priority at the moment. So it could be that they just okay, let's focus on the most important things first, and then we'll get touch into the least important things a bit later.
Yeah. I mean, I completely hear where you're coming from. I mean, they need to focus on making this a proper championship, on doing a decent job.
Right.
I agree that is where the main focus is. But at the same time, the community is important.
No, you're right.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The spectators are important. The riders are important. The teams are, everyone's important. Do you know what I mean? What is the point in doing this when you can't share it with the community?
Yeah.
Then it's becoming again not necessarily again, fix my words there, but it kind of then just becomes for an elite few. And that's not the point. Yes, these riders are amazing at what they do. They're incredible athletes and we love watching them. But Hard Enduro is not just about the top guys. It's about everyone, right? That was the point of a championship, was to have pro riders and amateurs riding together. And if people can't, as the community can't enjoy and appreciate those events and to see what's going on and see those top riders and get kind of inspired, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And another thing is that you were mentioned a lot earlier inside this episode, you said that they're managing some riders as well, right? That's a bit of a red flag as well.
Yes, that is something. I think that's a very good point. The Ross Whitehead, I think he manages Wade Young. And so to have someone who is now a key player as a promoter and in that promotional team being a manager of a championship contending rider, I would say that raises a concern of a conflict of interest.
You're not wrong. Not wrong.
I would say that does kind of not make sense. But at the same time, I don't want to be against Wade. Put it that way. You don't want to be against a rider who just happens to be managed by the company who got the promotional rights. But at the same time, there is a little bit of does he get extra information? Does he know things before anyone else does? There's always those,
Yeah, and let's be
questions.
completely clear here. We are so for a championship happening.
Yes.
Whether it was Wes Promotion, whether it's ProTouchGlobal, whether it's just the race organizers themselves taking it upon themselves to make it happen. We are so for this championship happening. It needs to happen. These are riders and people just in general that need to have this championship in order for, just basically for the ecosystem to continue going, for the sport to grow. What we're doing in this episode is just basically sharing the facts.
Yeah.
A lot of questions have been asked. We just be answering them from the information that we've received and what we've done research with.
Exactly. This is just the information that we have found, and we are making logical, I would say, conclusions. We're not trying to put words in anyone's mouth. We're not trying to stir the pot, to be honest.
Absolutely
That's not the point.
No.
But we have questions, and I guess in a way we're just answering our own questions in a way. Yes, our community has questions. We're all curious. We all want to know what's going on. So we're just here to share what we found, what we know, and hopefully that clarifies some things. It puts things into perspective.
Right.
And now we can all kind of move forward with this championship. Okay, this is our base. This is where we're starting. Let's grow it from here.
Yeah.
Let's get better from here, because I don't think it's just up to the promoter. Do you know what I mean? As a community, from the riders, from the teams, from the organizers, and also spectators, the media, we all need to come together and work as a community to help to grow this and make it a success. We can't put all of this just on the promoter's shoulders. I don't think.
Amen, sister. That was some good preaching. That was awesome.
Thanks,
but
man.
I think that pretty much wraps up all the information that we have generated and gathered from this. So thank you so much for you got some really good insights there.
Thank you. And I hope that we've answered some questions and clarified, for our community. And moving forward, we'll be paying very close attention to everything that's going on. And we really hope to see this championship thrive, and look forward to the first race at Valleys in only 2 weeks.
Yeah, and exciting to see what riders actually make it there, what bikes they're going to be on, because, I don't know if they're going to all be able to get their bikes there. So you might see some riders on different manufacturers just for one race and then move on to another one. Possibly. for Silver and Silver Kings as well. Most probably they're not going to be sending bikes across there. So they're probably going to be renting bikes there. So
there's going to be a lot of figuring out to do.
A lot of figuring out, eh? It's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, teams are scrambling, I think, to try and make something happen of this. But as usual, if you guys enjoy listening to us on the World Hard Enduro podcast, it'll be really sick if you guys had to just leave a comment, share it with your mates, like it, subscribe.
Share it with the community, because everyone should know what's going on, to be fair.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
If you like the episode, make sure to share it.
Yeah.
And like it and subscribe, and leave a comment about what your thoughts are on what's happening in the world of hard enduro.
Cool. See you in the next one, and enjoy the jingle on the way out.